This college football picks week 13 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey folks, this is Bud Foster. You're listening to SGPN. Let's let it ride. Go Hokies, man.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Oh, it's amazing. We're already. Oh, look at me. We're already here. Week 14, Sean.
Week 14.
Week 14. The season's base. This is the last week.
Yeah, it is. What happened? Did you tweak an arm muscle there on the beginning of the show?
Yeah, a little sensitive button push over here.
Okay. No, your arm was like cocking, ready to toss to me, and then.
No, I was doing so. I was kind of cross-handed, and yeah, I don't know. Switcher, one of the buttons is getting sensitive. Maybe it's broken, and it flipped over. Total disaster. Completely averted by me.
Well, good job averting the disaster, Ryan. Joining us on the line to talk all things college football picks from the college experience, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
I mean, we're still watching the Maui Invitational.
It kind of feels like one of those days where you're in Vegas for March Madness, where the morning feels like yesterday, and it's like 7:30 p.m. at night.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, haven't I been doing this all day? Did a day of my life just pass me by? But it felt great watching these games, with the exception of Iowa State losing pretty much the buzzer. These games have been fire. Memphis beating UConn in overtime. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Yeah. I mean,
how far away are we from the first playoff game?
Less than a month.
It's like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's right around the end of the NFL season, because it kind of like overlays right into Super Wild, because Super Wild Card weekend is Thursday and Friday is college football playoff games, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
That's going to be an insane run of football betting action. Cannot wait. And this year, of all the years for the college football playoff to debut, I think this is the one. I think this is a great year to start, because there are. I don't know if there's like one truly great team, and I think that's what's fun about the, college football finally embracing the novel idea of deciding who the best team is via playing the game on the field. I still don't know how it took this long, but I'm glad, and I'm sure people will be pissed about how many teams and what teams got in, but at least we're gonna have, a bunch of teams, somewhat. There's obviously some arbitrary aspect to it, but hey, you win your conference, you're in, and we get to decide it on the field. I'm looking forward to that aspect of college. The college basketball figured it out how many years ago? I don't know why it took football this long. It's crazy.
Danny Cannell is just rock hard somewhere in Florida, cranking it to the idea of the SEC having to have a disadvantage, like spot in the, whether it's weather, travel.
It's gonna be awesome.
I will say, and not to like tie this to politics, but obviously we see more information than ever. There's more conflicting information than ever. But is it not getting a little hilarious the way these schools are campaigning for their school, their conference, their strength of schedule? It is. I mean, first of all, if we're gonna do that, we have to get on the same page with the 9-game conference schedule. Everyone has to play the same type of conference schedule. These SEC schools seem like petty bitches.
Well,
oh my God, Alabama, you're not a playoff team. You don't get to be in the playoff this year.
No, and I
You're
agree,
not a playoff team.
But I would also say, like, hey, if you are, I don't think there should be scenarios where you playing in your conference championship game hurts you, right? Like if you lose in your conference championship game
not.
and you would have been in before you played the conference championship game, that I think is kind of bullshit. But other than that, I don't think they really have a great case. Colby, you always like to root for chaos. What is the dream scenario as a college football anarchist? Like, what is because this week is obviously going to be huge here in deciding the college football playoff. Like, what scenario have you concocted for a dream scenario?
Well, yeah, my dream scenario would be Texas A&M beats Texas, which I actually will get to that game. But
that's why they lost to Auburn, so they could beat Texas.
Yeah, but then they would go to the SEC championship and lose to Georgia, which then they'd be a 4-loss team making the playoffs, which means they'd have to be a road team. And then Vandy and the pisser Diego Pavia would take care of Tennessee, which we'll get to. But then what that would then do is I think that would solidify potentially all 4 road games being in northern places, so we can get revenge on a long history of bullshit of these southern teams never playing up north, really for any time since we've had television. Alabama played at Wisconsin. Yeah, it was like September 20th. You know what I mean? So it's like that's a 60-degree day. Penn State is going to host a playoff game more than likely. Notre Dame going to host a playoff game more than likely if they can beat USC. Penn State, I think you could pencil them. They're playing Maryland, so they're going to be hosting a playoff game. The loser of the Ohio State-Oregon game, if that's the Big Ten championship, providing Michigan doesn't ruin Ohio State's season, will be hosting a playoff game. And then if those things worked out where Vandy beats Tennessee or A&M, beats Texas, then you would then have Indiana probably hosting a playoff game too. And it would be fantastic. But I'm happy with 3 of the 4 because I think 3 of the 4 is like realistically going to happen.
This is one of those things where I don't get, like, the SEC should just say it. They would prefer, like, it would be bad to have to go up there. That's not a crazy thing to say out loud. We talk about this in the NFL all the time. Some teams have an advantage. Some teams are more, more prone to being successful in cold weather, or, like Iowa. Iowa's the great example, right? They're much better in Iowa than they are on a turf field. So I don't understand why. I get it. You're trying to campaign for your teams to get in, or you're campaigning for home field or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, this is the worst SEC conference we've had in ever relative to the rest of college football, maybe. And that they've always been getting a little extra juice. And so, yeah, it just seems like we're staring down the barrel of some SEC teams getting to the playoff and not having a good showing, which is
that's the thing.
Kind of what we want, right? That we need that to happen in a way.
Well, I think the sport is changing. I think that's one of the reasons why Saban retired was that, with other teams paying players and stuff, the level, became a level playing field. And also, one of the things that I think has always been frustrating is like LSU has played 2 national championships in New Orleans. Alabama's played countless huge games in New Orleans, in Atlanta, and Miami, whereas the teams from the North, specifically really since the television has been invented, have had to come down there to their home environments, and it's been a huge edge for them.
That's not going to get. I mean, that's the Super Bowl problem in the NFL too. That's never going to get fixed.
Well, no, it's getting fixed with the home field advantage. Like you
at
better
least in the first round.
Only one SEC team gets that benefit of not playing in the first round, and to me, that's fantastic for the sport. And I also think they might even get rid of that because once they see how much money South Bend, Indiana makes, that Georgia's going to sit there and say, "Damn, well, we got a bye week, but now Notre Dame can invest even more in their NIL collective." Because all these, the whole damn town is thriving financially. We're selling tickets, concessions, all this. So I think it's only a matter of time before they do it because 12 made no sense from the start.
Yeah. That's how they expand one more time. They're going to realize that they want that extra round to have that extra home revenue. A little icing on the cake for these teams. I saw this, shout out to Moneyline Mac. And this came from at Reddit CFB, which if you're not following, great follow. If West Virginia beats Texas Tech, Houston beats BYU, Zona beats Arizona State, Oklahoma State beats Colorado, West Virginia then beats Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game, Memphis beats Tulane, Tulane beats Army, West Virginia, then this becomes hypothetical. West Virginia takes down, I believe this is then Ohio State. They beat Boise, they beat Oregon, and they beat Texas for the national championship. Hypothetical West Virginia national championship right there.
Well, look, we counted this.
Well, I did see Mac put in a nice little parlay for the Big 12 portion of this, so it pays out plus 31793. Sean, 317-1. It's a parlay of Oklahoma State, Arizona, Houston, West Virginia. We probably should do this just in case, right?
What is it? What does it bet?
317-1.
Just to make the playoff.
This is just
for a couple things that happen.
No, this is just to get to the Big 12 championship.
Oh,
piece.
to get
so
to
it's
then,
just what they need this week. 4 games, 317-1. God, I hope you hit this, Mac.
No, I mean and this is why the idea that the regular season would become less interesting with the invention of the playoff was one of the dumbest arguments ever. What are you talking about?
That's the classic power in college sports, right?
Like what teams are taking it easy? What teams are resting their starters? Listen to the crazy parlay Max putting out there. Yeah. Is it going to hit? Probably not. West Virginia's probably not making it to the Big 12 conference game, but the fact that you have some hope, like think how many times we've done these week 13. I can't even remember when we did a week 13 podcast that had any real games that mattered in any sort of way. Certainly not in like a playoff format, or that, it was like a couple rivalry games that are interesting, but certainly not playoff implications.
The level of idiocracy by the people in charge. I mean, here's what's going to happen. And we were discussing this earlier. Go check out the college basketball episode. But if they're good with taking Saudi money through a couple shell corporations to feed purses for pay for play tournaments for college athletics to play in, why the fuck would they not come in and say, hey, how about we do this playoff where you win money at the end? And then what is ESPN's got their fucking dick in their hand.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about that on the college
that's
basketball
what I mean.
episode.
Like, how does that not happen? I mean, maybe Colby to the point of like there being an NIT or whatever for the group of 5. Maybe that's where it starts. It starts as this thing where it's like all of a sudden the group of 5 teams are getting, it's not guaranteed money like the ESPN format, the playoff format, but it's like, it's not a piece of a pie. It's you go win the money,
C-note game. Go get the money.
Yeah. It's a bag of cash game.
Yeah,
let's go.
And shout out, I think this was a state championship high school football game, maybe Montana, but they, instead of doing a coin toss like pussies, they had a helicopter come in and they dropped a football down, and it was one player from each side, and it was just a loose ball drill. Whoever got the ball won the toss.
Reminded you of the OG XFL in a way. The OG XFL,
where they really had some fun antics.
So it's so funny. It brought me back. Quick coaching story. I know you like them, Sean.
Yeah, coach them up.
Youth soccer, probably let's call them 7 and 8 year olds, maybe 8, 9 year olds. One of my go-to moves, first practice after we get to know each other a little bit, we play a game. I don't know what you called it, steal the bacon. But basically, you put a ball into a space, you call a number. That number is associated with the person, so you call 2 numbers, and it's basically like whoever gets it gets it. It's a primal game, and that honestly, why do we do a coin toss? Has anyone ever looked into why we do a coin toss to start a game? Was it a gentleman thing? We should absolutely be sending our greatest warrior
at
out
least
there.
arm wrestle for it. Oklahoma drill. Come on, some sort of feats of strength.
Excellent. Vince
McMahon had this correct.
Yeah. No, he was ahead of his time, and the camera in the cheerleaders locker room, that was
way ahead of his time.
That idea has aged very well.
Really, yeah. I mean, how What? How did?
Although according to
times were different.
According to allegations, he wouldn't want it in the locker room. Maybe a bathroom stall camera for old Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
According to allegations, that's what he's into.
I mean, when we were younger and we heard our parents and uncle, whatever, our older relatives talk about the past being, times are changing. Didn't really sink in, but man,
we're here.
I mean, that bit right there, Vince McMahon, like a professional sports organization that was on television basically had a voyeur cam.
Real quick, nice week of picks. Kramer 9-5. I was 8-6. Colby 8-6. Colby clean sweep again.
Jesus.
Lock, dog, and tease, getting the lock record back to respectability. And Discord under 500, 3-4. But Colby, I mean, hitting Oklahoma on the money line, that was a great call.
Well,
the parlay, buddy. Yeah,
my
Oklahoma,
God.
Florida, let's go.
You see, I don't know if you noticed, but Colby's on the come up over there after that parlay.
I mean, I was skeptical. I thought this was a game Alabama would show up. I mean, Alabama missing the playoffs is going to be great.
I took a lot of flack for the Oklahoma pick. The Florida one, I think, have to chat. Not necessarily on this show in general, but Alabama basically had 3 weeks to prep. They had a bye week the week before, and then
that's why I thought they would have a better showing.
I'm sorry, not Alabama. Oklahoma did. Oklahoma had the bye week, and then they had Maine, who's an FCS team out of the AE. So it's basically you had 3 weeks to prep for Jalen Milroe. And one of the things that Alabama, to me, is they're very one-dimensional. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs because I don't think they're that good of a team. I think if you can focus on them, especially knowing that the playoffs you're going to have 3 weeks to prep or 2 weeks to prep, depending on who you are. Milroe, if you can just limit his running, that's how every team's beat him, and he's looked really bad. He looked awful the other night.
So random question, because the Big 12 always gets docked because they cannibalize each other. Is the Big 12 not, or is the SEC not just the Big 12 this year? Kind of feels like they're the Big 12 this year.
Maybe with slightly better teams at the top, but I mean,
after this weekend, Texas A&M loses to Auburn. Are you kidding me? I don't know. Feeling some real thick SEC hate.
SEC.
Yeah, don't even have it's just like how can you? Yeah, I don't know. It's a beauty pageant. I get it. All right, you want to talk some football?
Yeah, let's get to the picks. Before we do, shout out to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code SGPN. Get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. You get the $10 free casino chip. Mybookie.ag. If it's been a while, you're shaking off the and it's been a while for us. We were been MyBookie back in the early days. They were sponsoring the Sims. Shout out to MyBookie. Faster crypto deposits and payouts. The early cash out if you're feeling soft. New live betting and streaming. They have the prop builder. Their prop builder is really awesome. If you're looking to put together a little same game parlay, little DGen only parlay, highly recommend MyBookie's parlay builder. Terms and conditions apply. About 100% match up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag. Promo code SGPN.
Sean, I know you like to check in with the chat.
Yep.
D Bettis is here.
Oh yeah.
He's wanted to share it. This seems a little out of context. From time to time, I've been fading Colby.
Well, D Bettis likes to fancy himself. He plays these 19 to 25 team parlays that have been hitting.
He's a sharp.
Well, he does. Yeah, I mean, the strategy is working for him. I'm not a guy who puts together 19 or 25 team parlays, but according to D Bettis, and he sends in some slips, they have been working from him. A lot of them are 10-point teasers, but still hitting all those is crazy. So shout out to you, D Bettis, legend in the chat.
What's your handicapping style? Win.
There you go.
Got it. Let's kick it off.
Colby. Real quick, Ryan, before we do, Colby, what happened? The Egg Bowl did not make the sheet. I thought we like football in this house. What is going on? How do you put the Egg Bowl here?
Oh, it's a gigantic fucking spread because Mississippi State's ass. Also, I passed on a few other ones. There's a few other chippy rivalries that didn't make the cut, mainly because you guys in your lame 14 games.
Here I was. I thought Colby would take responsibility instead throwing it on us.
Sean, I have to pull
14 game limit.
I have to pull back the curtain.
Sure.
We just set the sheet up this way. He just kept copying and pasting. There's no chance to do it now, but at any given time he could have added games, but he didn't. It was a social experiment. He didn't even try to open the door to his cell.
It is like one of those things. The restriction was set, and he's just like, all right, now I'm in charge of these other inmates.
You know what else didn't make the cut was the Commonwealth Cup, the Virginia Tech rivalry.
Why would it?
All right. A lot of people think that's both teams are fighting for a bowl game. There's serious stakes at the helm there in Blacksburg. One team came in with great expectations, lunch pail defense, and they have 5 wins. The other team, was supposed to be shitty, and they have 5 wins. So that's a compelling game that missed the cut there.
Okay. Virginia Tech lost to Malik Murphy.
I mean, don't even talk about the refs in that game. Look, if Pry pulls a Fuente and loses to UVA, you just put him down right there.
Oh wow!
Put him down in front of his family, whatever it takes. Family.
That's intense, Ryan.
Whatever. The roster's better than it was 3 years ago. All right, I assume the dates and
that was the saddest tout ever.
Oh, things were really bad under Fuente. That being said, Coach Pry seems like he could read a book about football strategy in game. Hire a fucking timekeeper. Fucking shit. I assume the dates are correct, Colby. So this one would be on when Thursday.
Thanksgiving. Don't worry,
Thursday.
you'll be out in the. I know you don't celebrate that holiday, but
if you are wondering, I will be.
Calls it Indigenous People Feast Day, Colby. So if you could please refer to it that.
That's not true.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's not true.
You don't. Do you acknowledge Thanksgiving in your house?
Love Thanksgiving.
If your kids are saying like, "What are we doing for Thanksgiving?" Not in my house. Don't drop any T-bombs here.
I feel like he does
from the internet. We're gonna allow our brains to rewire.
He's a big
nature.
Star Wars guy, Sean. I got a feeling this is like a Star Wars reenactment thing where he goes and him and his wife are part of the Sand People.
They're probably
we're the Sand People every damn Thanksgiving. You can come join us.
We'll find out. There's some furry convention out in the Mojave Desert that Kramer's been going to the entire time. All of a sudden, we find like this Scooby Doo outfit. Kramer's been dressing up in everything.
Jar Jar Binks. He's Jar Jar Binks. Yeah.
More to Colby's point, I perhaps will be going to some sand dunes. So.
Okay.
We'll see.
You gonna bring your blaster?
Yep. Gonna bring the blaster. Hopefully, gonna fall into a sand dune that doubles as a vagina.
Greg, Kramer involved in cosplay, like it's just an amazing visual.
Yeah, it seems highly.
If anyone's good with Photoshop, you need please. Can you Photoshop Kramer's head onto Mad Max scene? And then maybe there's like a turkey on there somewhere, like them riding one of those tricked out vehicles through the desert.
Fun. Yeah.
But there's
sounds pretty fun.
Leftover turkey leg on the truck somewhere.
Yeah. Possibly checking out a new campground. Got to do a little off-roading to get there. All right. Anyway, on Thanksgiving, I will be enjoying the stars. Hopefully, falling asleep as the sun goes down. What you will be completely OD'd on tryptophan, laying on the couch watching Memphis, Tulane laying 14.5 down in Nolens, -650 on the money line. Memphis +425, 56.5 is the total. Memphis basketball had a nice win today over Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley acting hilarious as always. Back to football. Colby, big game here. So Mac needs what do we need for Mac's crazy ass parlay?
I don't think anything needs to happen in this game.
This doesn't matter.
But
okay.
But this matters for the AAC. Well, not the AAC, but the college football playoff picture.
Yeah.
If Boise does lose to Oregon State or perhaps UNLV in the championship game there. Tulane is right on their ass, and Tulane, you can make a case. I know you can't go back and look at missed calls. They're kind of doing that with South Carolina, arguing for them to be in, and I'm kind of on board with it. They got robbed against LSU on that pick 6. Tulane in similar fashion.
Hold on, you can't do that, Colby.
I know, but I'm saying I'm saying though, like that ref should have been fired, in my opinion. And if you don't hold them accountable for that, similar things can be said for the Tulane Kansas State game. And another reason why the Egg Bowl did not make the cut is it's not on Thanksgiving. So they tried some phony shit. So this is my revenge.
They moved it.
All right. They moved it to Saturday. That's Friday. God. Friday. But no, I like Memphis here. This is this is Mississippi River football, good rivalry. Tulane's 1-10. It's a good spot for Memphis, who's still in the mix. I mean, they're a good football team. They've only lost a couple games. To stay with them. I think Tulane is the better team. They probably will win the game, but Memphis plus 14.5. Give me the Tigers.
Why is it so big? Is there an injury or something?
I mean, I just think Memphis is underperformed. They're still, 9-2, but they've underperformed. Like just the eye test.
Yeah, this one stood out. I mean, S&P Plus has this at a 6.5 point.
Yeah, no,
margin.
I mean the only thing scary is taking Memphis, and I agree. I think I'm going to be on Memphis here. The only thing scary about it is why is this spread Tulane minus 14.5? It does feel
injury.
It does feel like a bit of a rat line, but and Tulane's been great. But you look at the history here. The Tulane, the biggest favorite the biggest they've been favored in this matchup since 1998. Green Wave closes 16-point favorites, only won by 10. Tulane was also favored by 12.5 in 2011. They lost outright in that game. And I think Memphis can run the ball enough with Seth Hennigan, kind of bleed the clock here a little bit. They're going to want to ugly up the game as much as they can.
They also haven't played a winning team since September 21st, other than Navy. But Navy doesn't actually go out and get football recruits. You know what I mean? Like Army, Navy, we love them. We love Air Force, but it's a bit different than, and also Horvath, their starting quarterback, was out after the 3rd snap of the game, but they haven't played. I mean, the AAC's been terrible this year. ECU just benefited off of, we just hired our interim head coach, which I think is a mistake personally, because the AAC's been so bad. You've been able to beat up on these bad teams. You look at the last team they've had with the pulse, besides Navy, which, like I said, their quarterback left after the 3rd play. It's Louisiana. They won by 8. And that was a close game back and forth. I think Memphis stays within that.
Kramer, what are you doing?
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, it just seems like a trap.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's scary.
We're gonna find out some critical players out, right?
Tulane
is there a
Discord.
quarterback out? Is it possible there's a quarterback out, Colby?
Well, I mean, the youth, they could opt out, They've opted out.
That's another thing we didn't even talk about, Sean. We're entering opt-out season. Players are going to start will a player opt out of a playoff game?
See that again,
it's not for money.
Yeah, but I think the fact that you have a chance to win a championship and these playoff games, I do think will be showcases for the draft season. I think will keep people invested.
What's the yes price?
There's going to be some crazy yes price. I would make like 15-1.
So you think no one is heavily favored?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think anyone opting out of a college football playoff game. I'd be surprised.
I was going to say minus 200. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think it will happen with like a backup or a reserve that wants to hit the portal.
You think someone's definitely going to opt out?
I have a fee. Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. I guess I underestimated college football players. I thought they were real men.
It's the youth, buddy.
Just need one, I guess. But yeah.
You caught Aaron Rodgers lately? He's been doing it for his whole damn career. Yeah.
He's not a good example. And I called him out as such. So
the Aaron Rodgers,
subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast.
The Aaron Rodgers telenovela has really gotten spicy of late. All right. We're all on Memphis, Tulane, enjoy Discord, Oklahoma State, Colorado, tough week, for our Buffs. A big fan of the Sanders family, Shadur, Coach Prime, doing a great job out there in Boulder. 9 a.m. on Friday.
Congrats on your Kansas +3, Ryan. Aren't you glad we didn't let you take Colorado?
I tried to take. I'm, I ride with the Buffs. My sister did graduate from there. Colorado laying 16.5 here in a bounce back spot. Question mark -800 on the money line. Oklahoma State +500. 65.5 is the total. I mean, Colby, is this not a Gundy game where he just randomly stirs some shit up?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
this is a rival for him. Back when he played, Oklahoma State and Colorado were in the Big 8, so it was a big rivalry then, or I mean, a big conference game then. I don't know about a big rivalry, but and by the way, I'm seeing 17 out there right now. I think you got to take the Cowboys here. I think Colorado can win this game, but there's so much pressure on them. They haven't been in a spot like this. I also think Oklahoma State, I think Gundy would love to do this. And I also just think 17 points is gigantic for a Colorado team that has clear flaws. Like, it's been a great ride. Deion's on the right track. Everyone's an idiot for thinking otherwise, including some on this show. But
you shouldn't say that about Sean.
But the reality is 17 is a ridiculous number.
I'm still believing in the in Colorado to win the Big 12 at 40-1.
Not above my Arizona State. Forks up.
What do you have Arizona State at?
What do you mean? They're above Colorado in my personal power rankings.
No,
the Sanders family, they're a top grade A 5-star family.
I am taking Colorado here. I saw that post game press conference that Deion gave to these kids that success is a disease, that they were reading their own press clippings or blog posting or tweets. Right. I think he already got that fire.
Their girlfriends were having fish sandwiches. Their fat girlfriends were having fish sandwiches.
Eating fish sandwiches, drinking lemonade. And they got a little soft. They were worried about personal stuff over the team. I think the Buffs come out swinging, and they need a good showing here. If it does come down to a tiebreaker, point differential might get factored in there at some point. I think they put it on this Oklahoma State team. They can score fast. They can score quick, and you can blink your eye, and Colorado can be up 28-0. So I'm laying the points here with Colorado. I think their defense gets right here a little bit. I'm with Colby. They are a flawed team, but I think this is a great matchup for them coming off a loss. Yeah, their 7-0 streak ATS was bound to come to an end. I don't know where this Kansas team was the rest of the season. I think if you're a Kansas fan, you got to be pretty pissed, but hats off to Kansas playing good ball now, but I'm on Colorado here, laying the 17, fairly easy handicap.
Yeah, bookies in the Boulder area have been getting crushed between the Broncos and the Buffs. You got to take the points. Big number. Yeah, like the commitment, Sean. And by the way, I enjoy how Prime just calls his team a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, he's not motivating them. He's holding them accountable.
There's not enough coaches doing that. Also, it's going to be funny to see Prime and Gundy talking in the center of the field. That's going to be a great photo. Tech, the wrong Tech. Georgia Tech. They're taking on Georgia. Big rivalry game here. The game's being played in Athens. Correct, Colby? 4:30 p.m. on Friday. -19.5 for Georgia. -1400 on the money line. Georgia Tech +750. 53.5 is the total. Now this would be a nice slip up for Georgia. Woo. I mean the quarterback, if you go back and look at mock drafts from like before the season started, they thought this kid was going to be the #1 pick in the draft, Sean.
Not working out like that.
I just when I looked at the card this week, every one of these numbers, it's like, man, how do you not take the dog here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia Tech and the points. I think Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia's defense obviously isn't as dominant as it has been previous seasons. Georgia Tech can run the ball. If you're a dog getting this many points and you can run the ball against this defense, I think immediately you kind of become live. You can shorten up the game. all the pressure immediately is on Georgia. Georgia Tech playing with house money, nothing to lose. And Ryan, it's like the NFL slot machine. Once you get the free spins, you're not worried. You're already you're rolling. You're rolling for free. So
I had a free spin 30. I mean, I had some bad free spin luck this past trip, Sean.
yeah. Well, sometimes you're cold on the free spins, but Georgia Tech and the points all day. Colby, are you any chance you take Georgia here?
No, I love the Yellow Jackets as well. I mean, a little concerned about the freshman quarterback. Looks good, and they've been going back and forth with reps between him and Haynes King because Haynes King's not that healthy. But I still just think this was an 8-point game a year ago. Georgia has already cashed their ticket to the SEC championship. So in that regard, like they win and they're in. But I think, look, Georgia gave up 235 rushing yards to UMass. That's the most they've given up in a long time. I don't think this team is that good. This Georgia team is not that good this year. Georgia Tech's good on the O-line. As long as they can play turnover-free football, I think this is anyone's game towards like really the second half. Now, Georgia will probably pull away. They're at home. But I just think Georgia Tech has enough athletes that could give them problems. So give me the points with the Yellow Jackets.
The SEC is so arrogant. They've been just tripping into the most obvious letdown spots, team after team. And this is another one. I hate to take Georgia Tech, but I have to. Michigan, Ohio State, the game, Columbus, Ohio, 9 a.m. now on Saturday. Ohio State laying a big number, 21 minus 2,500 on the money line. Michigan plus 1,100, 42.5 is the total. Well, this is how Michigan makes the season worth it. They just completely take out Ohio State's knees. Either they win the game or they get someone injured.
Well, and Michigan's kind of turning into a triple. The Michigan Service Academy, Colby. I assume you guys have been running with this notion that they're not throwing the ball. They're just. I mean, that would be great. Maybe that's a good Photoshop of like Michigan uniforms. They're getting recruits because they're basically a service academy now. Colby, I mean, I don't know. Michigan's certainly tempting. Like, walk us through. What is Ohio State's motivation in this game? Obviously, it's the game, and there's going to be a ton of the rivalry aspect aside. What's their motivation playoff wise?
Well, first off, Ryan Day will probably be fired if he loses this game.
But does that motivate or not?
I guess that's a good question, but I mean, towards the pulse of that locker room. But obviously, and I has Ohio State officially clinched yet? I think if they lose, Penn State's in. Really? Penn State only has one loss. So if Ohio State loses this game, Penn State plays Oregon in the Big Ten championship game.
Oh, you're right. But they would say Ohio State would still get into the college football playoff, right?
Sure. No? Yeah, they would. But at the same time, you want that bye week they're playing for. Yeah. Well, and that would be a bad loss too
and revenge against Oregon.
Yeah. And you might fall far enough back where there's a shot that you might actually be on the road. You know what I mean? In the game,
that would be hilarious.
They'll probably be hosting, but I mean, I'm saying it's possible with Michigan being just 6-5 right now. So I would say that's enough right there. But obviously, the big one is just the rivalry. They hate each other. They talk about this the whole year. This matters more than anything. I like the points though, because I think Ohio State's trying to be Michigan all year. I've been saying that. I compare them to like the Urban Meyer Ohio State teams that would pass the ball all over the field and just use their speed. This Ohio State team tries to muck it up almost like Michigan did for a long time under Harbaugh. And that's kind of what they become, is this kind of tougher team, different identity than those other ones. And I think that plays into Michigan's favor. So 21 points to me is too much. Michigan's defense is still really good. They can pose problems. Will Howard is not like he's an efficient quarterback, but I still think you can force him into turnovers. We saw that Penn State game. He threw a pick 6. He also had a fumble in that game. So like 21's too much for me. Ohio State's going to win the game, I think, but that's a big number, man. And Biff Poggi's back with Michigan, by the way. So he comes back and they put up 50 points last week.
Poggi.
Also, so we saw that Bryce Underwood signed for a bunch of money with Michigan. There's some girl who went to Michigan who's dating or married to Larry Ellison, who has billions of dollars via Oracle. Anyway, as I was looking into this, I learned a very interesting nugget about Bryce Underwood's high school coaching staff. Colby, did you know this?
Oh, this is
Connor Stallions is the defensive coordinator for the high school team that Bryce Underwood plays for. Like, what the? He just showed up this season. How does this work? Like, what? I mean, it's excellent. It is absolutely excellent. This man is so committed to the University of Michigan. We need a
Connor Stallions of SGPN. I mean,
seriously,
this guy will do whatever it
literally
takes. Love this guy.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't have the keys to all the doors.
Colby, you're taking Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. This is. I might set a record for dogs in one show.
I mean, I was impressed with Ohio State against Indiana.
They were juiced for that game.
Yeah. Are they going to be as juiced for this though?
Probably not.
I actually think if you look at that game, that's more of what I'm talking about. I mean, yes, Ohio State was the better team, but if Indiana doesn't drop a punt and then have a punt return for a touchdown against them, you look at that game and Indiana's defense actually did the job. Like Indiana's defense held Ohio State to just 316 total yards. Michigan's defense, I think, is better than Indiana's. So if they can do that, hey, I would say that's a path to potentially covering, if not maybe even winning.
I'll take Michigan in the points, but also, I mean, Indiana had no answer for the blitz. Like that offense outside of that first drive was just dead. Like they didn't move the ball except in garbage time. So I think Ohio State's defense deserves a ton of credit. For the way
100%. I'm talking about Ohio State's offense. Ohio State's offense is the one that to me wasn't prolific against Indiana's defense.
All right. So Kramer, you're on Michigan as well.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Good alpha on alpha matchup too on the outside with the receivers and Will Johnson. Must watch TV. Another 9 a.m. kick here. Little interesting matchup. Vanderbilt maybe a little tougher than normal for Tennessee here. Game being played in Nashville. At the what do you call it, Colby? The construction site. Vanderbilt.
Yep, bring your hard hat because there's gonna be a lot of pissing going on.
Bring your hard hat and your nail gun. Vanderbilt catching 10.5 points. I mean, have we learned nothing this entire year? Tennessee does sport a pretty nice defense. Plus 300 for Vanderbilt on the money line, minus 400 for Tennessee. 48.5 is the total. I mean, again, I don't. Yeah, I'm taking I'm just on to all. We're just slapping dog after dog this week. Dog.
I mean, did we expect anything else?
What are we doing here?
I mean, I hope Vandy gets the outright win because it's been frustrating here these past couple of weeks. I'm worried. Colby, has Pavia lost his magic after he decided to sue the NCAA? I mean, I thought a guy like Pavia handled his business in the streets and not in the court of law. I was a little disappointed. I don't think he's won a game since he started suing the NCAA. Small sample size, but still.
Yeah, small sample size. I think it happens here. It happens here. Like Tennessee's a phony team. I just went through this exercise on the College Experience show. It's like they rank way better offensively than they really are. Any good team that they've played. You got to remember they played Chattanooga, Kent State, and UTEP. UTEP and Kent State are bottom 5 teams to me in the FBS. They wouldn't make the FCS top 25, and that has diluted their stats. Their offense sucks. If being frank, like they suck. They on offense they are a terrible offense against decent teams, right?
Yeah.
The numbers will lie to you, which is why you should never trust the people on the committee that will quote these numbers. And you're like, well, okay, you put up 700 yards of offense against Chattanooga, 700 yards against Kent State. I think 500 against UTEP. Okay. That's how you dilute those numbers against teams that are decent. Against Oklahoma, it was like 300 and change. Against Florida, 300 and change. Right. And when I say change, towards the lower side of the 300s. Against Alabama, same thing. Against Georgia, same thing. Vanderbilt's defense is all right. I think Clark Lee is going to be able to stop the run. Tennessee struggles to pass the ball. And then with the pisser, Diego Pavia, I think you can keep balanced enough. I don't even know. Tennessee's defense is good, but once again, I would still question. And what are the good offenses they've played? I bet you statistically the best offenses they've played are probably it's Georgia. They lost. Alabama. They won. And probably Florida, which they would have lost if their quarterback had not gotten injured. They were down the whole game. And Arkansas, which they lost. So I think Vandy can stay within that. I think Vandy is live on the money line. I think they will win the game. It's Diego Pavia's final game too.
Yeah, I mean, he's going out on his shield. Pavia back against the wall. That's all. That's all you need to say. We're all on Vandy plus the 10.5. Shout out to Danny Dumb Shit.
What's up, Danny?
Tossing in a nice little couple bucks into the tip jar, saying Kramer buy a water for the desert. Good.
Oh no, I'll probably have about 55
are you
gallons.
kidding me? Yeah, he's got like survival rations.
Yeah, we'll be good. Thanks for
this. Is not actual Mad Max. There is water where Kramer's going.
Who's
probably just
no, actually
hey,
there is
Dungeon
not
Master
water where I'm going.
Who's
What's
Dungeon
up?
Master? Who's Dungeon Master?
do you rotate?
I don't even get the joke.
No, yeah. Usually you laugh when you don't get the joke.
I don't even get the joke.
You're too close to home. Don't bring it up.
But no, there will not be water. Bringing my own water. Bringing a lot. 55 gallons.
Do you still wear that fur Viking hat out there, with like the bone with the bones up there? Like no.
When I'm mating with the coyotes,
some bone necklace and stuff.
Just drinking that alien blood stuff. That
there's a great episode of The Simpsons where Marge is at she's at a flea market trying to sell stuff, and some guy comes up and she goes, "Your son or daughter will think this bone necklace is really cool," and the guy goes, "I highly doubt my son or daughter is that dumb." Such a good quote. Awesome.
Oh, South Carolina, Clemson, great rivalry there in the state of South Carolina. Beamer's got South Carolina cooking a little bit, Colby. As you mentioned, they're very close to being, and honestly, they're playing as good as anyone in the country right now. Another 9 a.m. kick here. South Carolina catching 2.5 plus 115 on the money line. 49.5 is the total.
I think that's the argument. Do you put the winner? Do you put the winner in the playoff here?
I mean, to me, we need to look at this through the lens of not what conference you're in, and I would say that, yeah, because you're gonna be if you're gonna run down the list of teams, and you're gonna need to put one of these teams in because of how they're playing, right? But it will probably will get screwed, and we'll have some sort of horrible gymnastics explanation of how fucking Alabama got in.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Tommy Tuberville still accusing Indiana of cheating for buying their players, but and he's a senator or governor or something that he shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, I think the winner of this game should probably get in unless every team wins out, but it makes this game huge. I don't remember a Palmetto Bowl this big, so I like Clemson at home though. I think Clemson. The difference being Death Valley, that environment. They lost the last time they played in Death Valley to Shane Beamer. I think they've been getting better under that Garrett Riley offense. If this was anywhere else, though, I'd be on South Carolina because I do think they are the better team. But that home edge, I think, is just what you need for it. Lenora Sellers is still a freshman quarterback. They lost at Alabama. He made a critical turnover. They honestly, they were probably better than Alabama that game. But he made a critical turnover. He's a freshman quarterback. He hasn't played that many road games. I think that's what bites him in the end.
Colby, what team did Tommy Tuberville coach? Just for those who don't remember.
Auburn and Ole Miss.
Auburn.
Yeah,
and Ole Miss.
Well, and some others too. But yeah,
would you say that they were paying players almost with 100% certainty?
I think that I think that's fact actually too. Okay. I think you can actually research that and prove that.
Quote, "You don't just build a team, you pretty much buy a team now," Tuberville said. That was a little bit forbidden when I was in coaching, but now it's legal. Look at Indiana. They went out and bought them a football team, and look where they're at. They're playing Ohio State.
Bought them JMU, like 20 JMU transfers, which the coach was previously at. So it doesn't seem like you're buying. It seems like you're following your coach. and a quarterback from the MAC. Sure.
Didn't Tommy Tuberville get in trouble by the NCAA?
Oh yeah. Oh
what
yeah.
the fuck is this man talking about?
Oh yeah.
This is some crazy ass.
Ask him
SEC
about.
shit.
I believe Deuce McAllister was a running back at Ole Miss.
What a running back.
Yeah. That you can go back and check.
Yeah, he went into politics after college football. It's like, so wait, you were a college football head coach and then you transition into politics? Like, I mean, those are two of the most slippery. Oh, hey, you're good at.
Honestly,
you're good at dropping off cash sums and receiving cash
you're good
sums.
at collecting money, donations.
Yeah, okay, then we'll go here. Yeah,
honestly, that's the history of college football, and that's the passion is so rich through the sport that normally it affects your local politicians. That's the reason why you haven't had a playoff in the FBS a lot sooner, is because you have. I mean, look at the death penalty being thrown to SMU. A lot of that has to do with the governor of Texas being a Texas alum. You know what I mean? Like, do a deep dive on that, and you're just like, man, it shows kind of the corruption throughout the whole United States.
Yeah, people in charge decide by their rules. Clemson, you got to lay the points.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm the 2.5 at home is scary. Because I do worry, can Clemson get a pass rush against South Carolina, Colby?
I think they can with their crowd behind them. I think the real question, I do think South Carolina, like if this was played in I don't know, if this was played in Indianapolis, I would take South Carolina, I think.
Yeah,
but
I'm going Gamecocks. I think to your point, they've gotten jobbed a little bit. I think they might have a little bit more fire in them, and Clemson might actually. The home crowd might hurt them a little bit with the pressure, and you look at their losses; they struggled to get pressure on the quarterback. So I'm going to take South Carolina here, getting the points.
Last win in Clemson, 2012. Clemson has won.
No, not true. They won in Clemson last time they played.
It was
there.
2022, but that was the only win in 10. So
here's the thing I like though is that you have a freshman quarterback. You got Clemson's defense with basically 2 weeks to prep. They played the Citadel last week in an FCS. So I think that's a bigger advantage than South Carolina getting 2 weeks to prep for Cade Klubnik, because I think Klubnik can actually still make throws against a perfect defense. Whereas Sellers, it's going to be interesting to see how what they do to handicap them.
Come on. This is Davo's team building. We're at the end of the crescendo. This is when he's at his best. All right. We're got a lot of winning picks. Me and Colby do at least. Arizona State, Arizona. We heard from Sup Boy on the pregame show, Sean. He was pretty sure Arizona worried. State was going to blow this game and lose to Arizona in Tucson, 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. -9.5 for Arizona State on the road. Scattaboo. Love that guy. -360 on the money line. Arizona +280. 53.5 is the total. I mean, it does seem like the Arizona State, like short-lived Arizona State fan here, but it does seem like Arizona State is very similar to Virginia Tech. When things are going good, you just shoot yourself in the dick. And so, are we supposed to? I think we're supposed to take the points here, Sean.
Well, I mean, they did storm the field. You remember that hilarious ending?
Twice.
Yeah, two separate stories. There was also a great video of a Arizona State fan, and because I'm in the ASU algorithm. Colby, did you see this video? He goes, "I'm in their blue tent. I'm in their blue tent." Somehow he snuck into the blue tent before they stormed the field, and it's just got a guy in the blue tent looking at the players, like filming a video of himself. He's like, "They don't even know I'm coming." I mean, this program's awesome. Dillingham's awesome. He's a psycho. Everything you love about college football, but 9.5 is a lot in a rivalry game. The Arizona could save their season. I mean, I'm rooting for Arizona State to win. I'd love it not to be sweaty for them, but I think it's going to be. Give me Arizona +9.5. And Arizona State, to their credit, has done well after big victories. Part of the reason why their record is what it is. Like, they haven't had letdown games, but man, just tough not to have a little bit of a letdown, or it's just going to be tough to get up for this game. Meanwhile, Arizona, they realized their season was a bust. This was their Super Bowl. They've had this circled. They're at home. Yeah, you got to take Arizona here.
Yeah, I mean, this game. This is why the 12-team playoff is so much better than the 4, and hopefully they expand again because you now make this game so more like earlier this offseason. I was talking to a Pitt fan. And I was at the airport and he was talking about, yeah, we've been terrible, but we did fuck up West Virginia's season in 07. They're about to go to the national championship. Right. And that's
something to hang your hat on.
Yes. And the fact you can do this, it only enhances these rivalry games. Even the Egg Bowl that you mentioned earlier, even though Ole Miss is kind of already eliminated, we think, just the fact you have so many of these. I'm on Arizona. Look, Arizona State, that was the biggest win they've had in like 20 years last week. And now they got to go on the road. Brent Brennan in Arizona hasn't gone the way they planned. I was on the under with them for a reason. They lost a lot on their D line and Jonah Coleman at the running back spot, but I still think they're talented. And you put this big target on your back of like, hey, let's end our season. We're not going to a bowl game. This is our bowl game. I'm all over these Wildcats. I think they stay within that number, maybe even win it outright.
Ooh.
And Gus's Johnson again, great Twitter name there. Or YouTube handle. He's saying Arizona State might run the ball backwards and blow the cover. Yeah, the way they managed those last couple of minutes,
unbelievable,
was insane.
Why are college coaches is it just recruiting? It's like we don't just hire a guy. They have so much money. Just hire a guy. I mean, I just think he's like 32 years old. He's like never been in a spot like that ever in his life. But you have all these people around. You have all these graduate assistants. Find one of them that's fucking half good at Madden and just be like, dude, just stand over here and help me out with the timeout situation. Or I mean, it's rudimentary stuff. It's amazing they're paid millions of dollars to lead young men and coach them through this shit. Miami heading to Syracuse. This doesn't need to be on the card, Colby. 12:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Miami laying 10.5. No way they cover that number. -400 on the money line. Syracuse +300. 67.5 is the total. Yeah, I mean, this is just it's always going to be a weird spot. I mean, Miami's kind of in a little. So my ACC, I assume nothing's changed and it's winning in, right? You got to win the championship.
Miami loses. Clemson goes to the ACC championship.
How does
I mean the conference. Like you're not getting in the playoff if you don't win the conference.
No, right. I think they have 2 teams in right now. With everyone losing, they might even get 3 teams in if Clemson wins. If Clemson and Miami win, I think 3 teams are probably going to go. I mean, it depends what else happens. But like I think there's a decent shot that 3 teams go. If especially if like Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, I would say like how would you turn back an 11-1 regular season Miami team that loses in the championship game or wins the championship game against an 11-1 SMU team, and then you have Clemson there at 10-2 that just beat your number 15 South Carolina team.
But
it'd be very hard to do that.
Imagine the whining from SEC country,
especially with Clemson's recent history in the 4-team playoff. Like this team that won 2 national championships.
Yeah,
you're gonna leave them out.
Yeah, they're the one team that has a little bit of that, like football blue blood drip. I mean, again, I said the dogs were very appealing.
Can't give Kyle Honda McCord this many points in the Carrier Dome. It's going to be rocking.
It's going to be a weird game. Miami's going to come back. They'll win the game.
I feel like we haven't had a historic meltdown from Mario Cristobal yet, have we?
Georgia Tech game was one, but
was it? I feel like we need one specific play call, one decision. I don't know. Yes, that was a bad loss, but I feel like he still has one trick left up his sleeve. So I'm all over Syracuse here as a home dog.
This Miami team is phony, man.
Yeah,
they haven't
on the edge.
They don't have a top 25 win. If you watch that Wake game, it was a lot closer. And then you look at what the Honda McCord threw for 470 last week. Miami's pass defense is terrible. I think they're live. I think Syracuse is live. They're definitely going to cover this. Well, I mean, Miami to me is a team that they're kind of like Colorado. Patty C kind of nailed it. It's like they're a great passing team. They lack physicality to me, running the ball, and their defense is fucking terrible. If anything, I think Colorado's defense is better than Miami's. Give me the points all day here. Now I will say this, if this stadium was outdoors, this would definitely be a win because Miami would not be able to handle this. But that once again, they take away their advantage.
So Colby, how does Syracuse win the ACC? Explain the path for me.
Oh, no. It's not Syracuse. It's just Syracuse is cooked. They're done.
No, I know.
Oh,
was just trying to. I'm just trying to somehow have some hope about my ticket that I got at a great price on Syracuse to win the ACC. Although they smashed their win total. That was no sweat. So that
3 stars. Sean didn't even know Syracuse was already eliminated from the ACC competition.
That was a joke, fellow college football guy Colby. I thought he would understand the reference there. Colby, hopefully something you will get. Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Get you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 when you use the promo code SGPN. Let's talk a little college football, higher, lower. What do we got in our fantasy projection sleeve?
Let's go to the game I think every single person has been waiting for that loves college football. Texas is going to College Station. You want to probably grab this right now too, because didn't Quinn Ewers just have a like an MRI for his ankle? I think it was some type of injury situation. But his stats are still out there.
Did you see what Cannell posted? He said, "Oh, well, we gotta make sure we take them out of the playoff now since their quarterback's not going to be healthy."
Look, he's got a great argument. We got
to make sure he's not healthy. It's a different team. We got to judge that different team.
Well, especially they haven't beat any good teams. Their resume is the worst in any top 25.
This is going to be such a spicy season.
What are we fading for Quinn Ewers, Colby?
I'm taking the lower on 237.5 passing yards. Mike Elko, that's his forte, defense, especially if he's not 100. Even if he plays, he's not 100%.
Yeah, and they have Arch Manning, so maybe he plays and they don't like what they're seeing. They put him in, or they put Arch in.
And to me, Texas has one of the best offensive lines in college football. That's kind of their MO of like how they've been, this successful this year. A&M's got to me one of the best defensive lines in college football. And then with the way Elko disguises a lot of his blitz packages, I really think he could really confuse Quinn Ewers a lot. So I will take the lower on 237.5 passing yards with Ewers. And
they did just give up 300 yards to Auburn through the air.
Yeah, but they weren't even. Did you see the interview for that?
Yeah, they were getting ready for Texas.
I mean, this is a huge deal.
Auburn. Yeah. They're locked in on Texas. Oh wait, shit, Auburn. I meant Auburn.
Obvious.
Now on the other side of that,
I mean, you may as well be like having sex with your wife and yell out the wrong, yell at someone else's name.
And the head coach. It wasn't a player. Like fuck.
I love you, Stephanie. I mean, what's my wife's name? Shit.
Who's Stephanie?
Another one.
I know.
Another one I like though is A&M's quarterback Marcel Reed. He's a running quarterback. I'll take the higher 33.5 rushing yards. I still wonder how good Texas statistically looks great, but last week they played another backup quarterback as Vanderbilt got injured after 7 plays. It's really an unbelievable run. Something I've never seen.
Do we need to look into this, Colby?
Yes, I think so. If Reed goes down, then you might as well just buy the Texas National Championship price there. But give me the higher on that 33.5 rushing yards.
Sean, who is there a program in the country that Colby hates more than Texas?
No. Are we worried? No, I don't. Well,
NC State maybe.
NC State. I mean, any program that has success.
It's Texas
up there, but he has begrudging respect for Alabama because they've actually won. But I
was a huge Alabama fan when they were winning with Gene Stallings, like in the 90s when Alabama beat Miami with George Teague and stuff. I love that Alabama team.
He liked the band before they got popular. Is what he said.
They started to manipulate the schedule and play neutral site games and just that. But
They
the
started
real
selling
one,
out, and they started licensing their music to commercials.
Corporate logo.
Yeah.
It used to be about the music with Alabama.
that's what I'm saying. And Texas to me though is like responsible for all of this conference realignment shit.
UnderdogFantasy.com promo code SGPN.
They're the worst.
Man.
They're just never happy. They're that bitch that just keeps on whining. You know,
Texas, not Underdog.
Not
Fantasy.
Underdog Fantasy.
oh,
They're always happy.
Texas.
They're always
Underdog
happy
Fantasy is
for-
fantastic.
There you go.
Underdog Fantasy is the wrong name that you say when you're with your wife.
Well, it's when you're having sex with Underdog and you accidentally say over or under instead of higher or lower.
Shit. Sorry, honey.
Get under me. I mean, lower than me.
Oh fuck. We got in trouble again. We said parlay. I said parlay, but Notre Dame, USC, good win for USC last week. 12:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Is this not normally a night game, Colby? Seems odd.
Sometimes, yeah, a lot of times I feel like there's been day versions of it.
USC catching 7.5 plus 225 on the money line. What's this I've heard? Brian Kelly taking the USC job? Are they firing Lincoln? This sounds the end of the college football season into the playoffs is going to be extremely spicy. 51.5 is the total. I watched a good amount of that Notre Dame Army game. Notre Dame they were playing for something.
No, they did.
There's some coaching going on over there. Motivation. They're playing hard.
Army came in there with the chip on their shoulder, tried to hang, but at Notre Dame, to your point, Ryan,
didn't have
very focused team, and they were locked in. I think USC, I would imagine will get up for this because it's Notre Dame, and there is kind of some historical aspect to this rivalry, but.
Isn't there a chance they just beat the shit out of them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because the physicality that they're going to bring. There was already that weird game where they beat UCLA. They covered the spread at the Rose Bowl. Yeah, they'd like to beat Notre Dame, but do they have it in them? I don't really see a ton of heart out of that USC team. And to your point, like Notre Dame, I don't know, man. I think they had that one slip up against Northern Illinois, but other than that, they've been pretty locked in.
Seem bought in.
Yeah, so I'll take Notre Dame laying the 7.5. Kramer or Colby, what are you doing?
I'll take the Trojans in the 7.5. Notre Dame's schedule's been a fucking joke, and they haven't played any good offenses. Like, what's the best offense? Louisville, right?
Just for those keeping track at home, 8 games we've picked. Colby has one dog, and it's Clemson laying 2.5.
No, well, one favorite. One favorite.
Sorry, other way around.
Yeah.
7 dogs, one favorite.
I only have 2 favorites.
I also like a lot of the dogs. I just feel like I got to pepper some favorites in.
You only have 2 favorites too, Sean.
What? No, I have Notre Dame. Oh, you're right. I did take South Carolina, but I have Colorado. I have 2.
Yeah,
I have 2. Colby only has 1.
Look at Sean throwing rocks in his glass house over there. Yeah, we have 2. Colby has 1. It's a dog weekend. I'm telling you.
I'm sure he's going to be on Alabama. No, I see the case for USC, but Colby, I don't know, man. Don't you think Notre Dame just beats them up?
I don't think this Notre Dame. I mean, I need to see it. Like they haven't played anybody. You look at like their coming into the year.
Well, I think Army was a decent team.
But they don't even do scholarship players, man. Like the offensive line, but like after the first drive, I knew that game was over. Yeah, I could just see the dominance on the line of scrimmage, and I was like, "Oof, it ain't gonna work, right?" And then the same could be said for Navy. So like, what are you looking at here? Georgia Tech? Well, they didn't have Haynes King that game, right? It's kind of important to have Haynes King. There are other games: Stanford, Florida State, Virginia. They all suck. Purdue's terrible. They played 2 MAC teams. One of them beat them, and then the Louisville game, which was a 7-point game, they gave up Notre Dame blocked a punt for a touchdown and also had a pick 6 on like a drop touchdown or drop first down. I think USC can do enough offensively to challenge them, so I think they stay within this. Notre Dame still may win the game, but I think this is a game.
No.
I don't see it. I think after you beat UCLA, your season's over.
As a Southern California sports expert, this USC just won a huge game against
Shark.
UCLA.
The wine and cheese is going to be out for this Southern California.
For both of these programs, the season ended with the USC UCLA game. So USC already looking ahead to the gone fishing portion of the off season. I'm laying it. Second favorite. Let's go. Auburn, Alabama. Any trees getting poisoned this year, Colby? We're heading to Tuscaloosa. Alabama laying
those trees will die. All right.
-5.
Wait, are the trees dead yet?
Yeah,
no, but they will die.
No, they are
the
now.
Feinbaum, if you don't know the story, look up the Feinbaum tree poisoning. The guy, you may have been aware of the. I was always aware of the news story. I didn't realize he admitted to it on air. But he calls into Feinbaum's show and just is like, "Hey, I went up there and poisoned their trees." They're like, at first Feinbaum's like, "Is this a joke?" He's like, "Did the trees die?" He's like, "Oh no, they will." And then he explains like what chemical he bought, and he did. The guy ended up doing jail time for poisoning these trees. They are these like historic trees and real psycho.
And that was part of the handicap.
Great caller.
That was part of the handicap when taking Oklahoma too. Like, if you haven't been to Alabama and witnessed what this rivalry is, like this is one, and knowing DeBoer in his first game was going to have to battle that. He's not almost like with Elko and what he said, like he's not focused on Oklahoma. He's focused on Auburn, even though Auburn's ass. I do like laying the points here. I think Auburn got their win last week. They stormed the field. I still think they probably are offensively challenged for the most part. Alabama's defense is not great, but when you're playing an offensive team that can't do much, Oklahoma was that, but Oklahoma was at home and was able to force, pick sixes, essentially almost two of them. So I think Bama rolls past Auburn here. Lay it.
It does suck that Auburn won last week. It makes it very difficult to take them.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Alabama all day. I mean, Alabama coming off a loss, Auburn coming off a win. It's not rocket science. I get why
big number though.
I get why it's tempting to take them in this spot, but Alabama's just the much more talented team.
And there is a clip circulating social of it's about 3.5 minutes. A Feinbaum caller, Alabama fan, not dealing with the current state of things. Well, if you're familiar with the Feinbaum show, you would know the caller legend. Yeah, I'm also on Al. I wish if Auburn loses last week, all over it.
So wait, Discord is going to be on Auburn?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought Colby would be firing on
favorite number 3.
Yeah.
Cal SMU, huge game in the ACC/Illuminati conference. This one's in Dallas, 12:30 p.m. kick on the West Coast. 14-point favorites for SMU, -600 on the money line. Cal +400, 56.5 is the total. Can Cal play spoilers here?
Cal's lost all of their games by one score. Yes, give me the points. They're not that bad, man. They should have beat a lot of those teams. They missed to win multiple games.
Well, the Miami game, they 100% should have won.
The whole Miami offensive line was like 15 yards down the field in the end zone. Yeah, I'll take Cal on the points. I don't think SMU's decent, but I don't think they're. I mean, I took BC.
What are the playoff implications for this game for SMU?
Well, they've already clinched the ACC championship, but if they want to make it, if they lose the ACC championship, there's still a good chance they can get in, especially with what the committee has already kind of hinted at. Meaning, if you make your conference championship game, we're gonna pay attention to that as far as like you shouldn't be penalized. So that would be pretty good, but you got to get past Cal here to go undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah,
within your conference.
I think SMU rolls here. I think this is. I mean, did you see the Cal guy crying on the field, describing how much he loved the guys he was playing with? That was an emotionally draining game against Stanford last week. They didn't get the cover. It was a good game. Hats off to them for getting that win. They had the scene in game day. They've had a lot of close losses. I get why it's appealing to take them as a dog, but I think they emptied the tank there. Now you're going to go on the road in Dallas after a very emotional game.
Yeah, it's a non-rivalry game after a rivalry game.
Yeah, Fade Cal
Easy.
all day. SMU's lock potential.
I don't know about
It is 14.
I don't know about a lock, but I'm also on SMU.
Let's go.
Another 4:30 p.m. kickoff. Ooh, like Colby said, I think the college football fan is excited that this one's back on the schedule. Is this an every year thing? Like, is this one of those where they circle it and they play it every year?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
back. It's back where it should be.
Which again, positives have come out of conference realignment. Texas laying 6 points here on the road, -230 on the money line. I have to imagine McConaughey loves the pregame parade activities. +195 for A&M on the money line. 49 is the total. You're telling me there's military positions and all you guys do is lead cheer? That's wild. Yeah, I mean, Colby, rock meet hard place. What are you doing here?
A&M all day. I think Elko can lock up defensively what their offense does. Texas's offense does. And I think behind the momentum of that crowd and the mobile quarterback, I think that they can do enough to just win this game outright. Keep the points. A&M wins.
Do we know what do we have? Like, do we have a confidence of Quinn Ewers playing, not playing? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure, and I'm sure that's on purpose. But even if he plays, not 100%, and even if he was healthy, I mean, this is a guy that, I mean, go back to the Georgia game. Did he look that great then? I still question his performances in big games. So, give me the Aggies all day here.
I'm with you. Give me Texas A&M as a home.
I mean, we were just there for a regular game.
Yeah.
I could only imagine what this will be like. And so local time, it will be what, 6:30?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's,
it'll be rocking.
It'll be lit, I think is what Colby says. Washington, we're heading to Eugene, Oregon, where they're taking on the Ducks. Oregon laying 19.5, -1400 on the money line, +750 for Washington. 50.5 is the total. This one could have been a night game. We didn't have to start this at 4:30. The sun will set as the game's being played.
In beautiful Eugene, Oregon, in the Conference of Champions.
Not anymore. It's the Big Ten.
And so wait, who
did
won?
They just steal that?
So Oregon State won the Pac-12, right? Is that official?
They did beat Washington State. Pac-2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pac-2. Sorry, I like to, but I did. There was a week where I found a tweet when I was doing my Pac-2 power rankings where I think I had Oregon State as number 1 when I initially released my Pac-2 power ranking. So I gave it a bump just to remind people. I know ball.
You were right.
Yeah. Shout out to me. What are we doing here, Colby? 19.5 points. Oregon's laying. I'm
going to take the points. I think Washington's still like getting better with each given week. Oregon is in the Big Ten championship regardless. They already clinched. I wonder about the motivation. I guess you want to beat Washington because they beat you 2 times in a row, but like, it's too many points. It's just too many points for a game that I don't know that you're that focused on. So give me Washington and the points. And I also think Washington is getting better with every week.
It's pretty funny that Oregon is definitely in the Big Ten championship with a week to go. Former Pac-12 team.
Yeah. I don't know. This one's one of the harder ones. I'm gonna take Oregon because every time I fade them, they win, and they just. I mean, like anytime I think I identify spots where they might be a little fraudulent. They come out and they destroy teams. So they're very talented. I think it's going to be an interesting Big Ten championship game for them, and then I'm looking forward to seeing them in the playoff. I'm like, part of me is still skeptical of them, but then part of me has to realize, hey, every time I doubt them, they shove it down my face. So give me Oregon laying 19.5. I'm tired of having them rub my nose.
Yeah, dude. Well, and Washington's been complete ass on the road. So
yeah. What are you doing, Kramer?
Yeah, we're laying it. Complete ass on the road. Colby overlooked that. Kansas State.
I mean, they haven't played the Pac-12 teams on the road, really.
What?
I'm saying, like, of course, when you go play at Penn State and at Iowa, but this one's right next to them.
Got it.
So,
that's a fair counterpoint, but I'm going to stay with their ass on the road. Kansas State, Iowa State. We're heading to Ames, Iowa. Another 4:30 kick here on the West Coast. Iowa State laying 3, -150 on the money line. Kansas State +130. 51.5 is the total. Colby.
Farmageddon. Last year,
it.
this game was awesome. It was in a blizzard, and Iowa State pulled the upset against Kansas State. Both teams are alive to make the playoffs here. That's what's great. We're not going to know the Big 12 turnout until crazy, 3 a.m. I'm actually going to take the points. K-State's going to get revenge. I feel like it's just both teams are kind of mirror images of each other, but I just feel like K-State, the way they lost last year, kind of hurt their season. I just think it's a revenge spot, and the fact that Iowa State just barely escaped. If what's his name didn't fumble inside his own 20 on that handoff, I thought Iowa State got a little fortunate last week. So give me K-State to get it done here.
Yeah, I see the case why you might want to do that, but I'm going Iowa State at home in Ames. This is going to be a grinded out game, and I believe in the home field to carry them here.
Do you know
the home crowd? And I'm skeptical that Kansas State is good, so especially on the road.
Quick trivia: Where is Farmageddon being played in 2025?
At a farm,
Dublin
to open the season.
Wow.
Week 0.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
At least they have farms over there.
Do
potato
they?
farms? Yeah.
Oh, they still
Where do you think you grow potatoes?
Do they still do that?
Still, take a conference game over there is fucking horrible. I hate that game.
This game,
Yeah.
you can't do this. How much money are they getting paid by the Irish tourism?
Airlines? Yeah. I don't know.
Cunnilingus?
Yeah, it's terrible. Absolutely
Is
terrible.
that the name of
I
the
should probably
airline?
go to it though.
It is something like Cunnilingus.
No, I'm pretty sure it's
Air Cunnilingus.
I think it's Aer Lingus, right?
No, I think it's analingus. I'm pretty sure. Look it up.
Air Analingus.
Look up analingus in Urban Dictionary. See if it's that airline that everyone's talking about.
Oh, Cunnilingus was such a great word when you were a kid. Like you
sounded so sophisticated.
Smart. This is tough. This is a tough one, Sean.
Is it?
I can't believe they're playing this game to open the season.
Kansas State 1-4 ATS on the road. Come on, what are you doing?
It's true, and the tides have turned of late in the rivalry towards Iowa State. So all right, we'll take Iowa State.
All right, time to lock it up with our lock, dog, and tease. Brought to you by Rhythm sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your 7-day free trial today. Your place for college football, college basketball models, NBA picks. Props, NFL, like anything you want to do, and it's very simple. Putting together your own model. Just slide the sliders, and you're good to go. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Kramer, what do you got?
Just slide those sliders. Let's see. We should probably lock up so many of these dogs. All right. I do think Notre Dame kicks the shit out of USC. You know what? Actually, I got favorites in the lock spot. Clemson -2.5, Notre Dame -7.5. For my dog, it's Arizona or Vanderbilt. Let's go with Arizona. Sorry, Forks down.
Wow.
Forks down.
Arizona money line +280. I hope that's worth it for your soul, Ryan.
Well, it's the devil. So, I mean, that in a way, I'm trying
Kramer
to save
does
my
mess
soul.
with devil stuff.
I don't mess with no devil. Tease.
Yep.
Let's shrink the Alabama number inside a touchdown.
Okay.
5.5. Let's bump the Georgia Tech game up to 25.5.
A lot of key numbers up there.
Yeah. And then let's get that Oregon game inside of 2 touchdowns, 13.5.
All righty.
That's how you tease.
For me, my lock, give me Vandy +10.5. Pavia's not going out like a bitch.
Quick update. The NCAA did just respond to his lawsuit. So I don't know if he'll have some legal briefs to be reading before the game. Hopefully it's not distracting.
Other lock that I like. Yeah. Give me Arizona +9.5. I think ASU, I do think they get the outright victory, but I don't think they're going to completely lose. Syracuse shocks the world and takes down Miami. +300.
I didn't see that coming.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
I like it though. I like it's a great pick.
For my tease, Notre Dame, Syracuse money line plus 300. Notre Dame -1.5. Oregon down to 13.5, and Alabama down to 5.5. Colby.
Lock up Alabama -11.5 against the Auburn Tigers. Also, let's lock up. Let's go with Syracuse. Since you took Vandy, I like we can do a parlay later with that, Sean. But give me Syracuse plus the 10.5. The dog is Texas A&M. The tease, let's bump Vandy up to 16.5. Let's bump A&M up to 12.
Pavia's insulted. You need to tease it.
Come on.
And let's take Q's up to 16.5 as well.
Wow. He's
breaking all the rules.
I mean,
he's breaking all the rules.
All righty. Parlay. What are we doing, Colby?
Syracuse and Vandy, right?
Yeah. Syracuse, Vandy, money line parlay.
All right.
And A&M. We should throw A&M in there.
All right.
I'll join you on that. Do we not want to add in Michigan and Georgia Tech? Get a whole bunch of legs going?
No.
Memphis?
No. Keep it simple. Syracuse, Vandy, Texas A&M.
Okay.
Let's have ourselves a Saturday and Thursday, Friday in there, or Friday. Good times. Check out the college experience and the Black Friday sale. 25% off everything in the merch store, including the college experience hat, the DGen University, the mugs, the sweatshirt. Everything must go Black Friday super sale. Use that promo code Black Friday Thursday through Sunday. 25% off everything.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Interesting. Sean failed to mention you can also get 25% off a puzzle with my face on it.
Kramer, let it ride.